Let's stand for the Lord's Prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not to temptation. Deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
President, Mr. Persing.
Here.
Vice President, Mrs. Hovenstein.
Here.
Secretary, Mr. Anderson.
Here.
Treasurer, Mrs. Scandal.
Here.
Mr. Griffiths.
Here.
Mr. Kashner.
Here.
Mr. Shuey.
Here.
Mrs. Smugin.
Here.
Mr. Sosnowski.
Here. Okay, citizens' comments, Chris?
Okay, just a reminder, if there are comments, please email them to cvenna@indians.k12.pa.us. I believe it's on the bottom of the screen. We'll take a few minutes here to allow some time for people to make comment. I do have a question here from Larry Deklinski at the news item. His question is, how many parents chose for their children in-school instruction, online instruction, the school's charter program, and outside charter program? The information I could give you, Larry, is that out of approximately 1,700 plus responses, 63% have indicated they are coming in person, and 37% have indicated to do our online option, that being through Google Classroom. So those other numbers, I don't have those, Larry, at this time. Give another minute here. Okay, doesn't look like we have any more. We'll catch up with them at the end if they need be.
Okay. A work session, Chris?
Just want to go over, a reminder, all parents, our first day of school is this Monday, August 24th. Just a couple of reminders. Our reopening plan is designed to be fluid. We will continually look at our delivery model and make adjustments as necessary, depending on the changing conditions with COVID. Parents and families, just understand that we are here to support you as much as possible, and we will do our best. Our number one priority is to keep your children safe, and please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions, but we are sticking to our plan that we announced a few weeks ago. As I said earlier, 63% of our families have indicated that they will be coming into school on Monday, and 37% have indicated they will be doing online. And again, first day of school is Monday, August 24th. And please stay tuned for phone calls and Facebook announcements and more announcements on our website. But we'll be ready to go for Monday. We're looking forward to having the students come back and working hard and having a great year. And we will get through this together. So,
All right, with that being said, let's go into old business. I need a motion to approve the board meeting minutes.
Motion.
Second.
On a question? All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it. I need a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Motion.
Second.
On a question? All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it. I need a motion to authorize the payment of bills.
Motion.
Second.
On a question? Roll call, please.
Mr. Sisnowski.
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Griffiths.
Yes.
Mrs. Havenstein.
Yes.
Mr. Kashner.
Yes.
Mr. Persing.
Yes.
Mrs. Scandal.
Yes.
Mr. Shuey.
Yes.
Mrs. Smugin.
Yes.
New business, I need a motion to acknowledge the student and/or staff accomplishments.
Motion.
Second.
On a question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. Where are we at? 502, I need a motion for new and revived policies, administrative regulations, and school policy.
Motion.
Second.
On a question? Is that a roll call? I don't see it on my,
It's,
it's a roll call?
yes.
Okay, roll call.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Griffiths.
Yes.
Mrs. Havenstein.
Yes.
Mr. Kashner. Mr. Persing.
Yes.
Mrs. Scandal.
Yes.
Mr. Shuey.
Yes.
Mrs. Smugin.
Yes.
Mr. Sisnowski.
Yes.
I need a motion to acknowledge the first reading of the following new and revised policies, administrative regulation, job.
You did that one, yeah.
Well, I have it
That's-
twice then on mine.
No, it's continuation, there's lots of them. 503. Started over here and goes to the top of the next page.
Okay, all right. Okay, I need a motion to approve all sports matters.
Motion.
Second.
On a question? Roll call.
Mr. Griffiths.
Yes.
Mrs. Havenstein.
Yes.
Mr. Kashner.
Yes.
Mr. Persing.
Yes.
Mrs. Scandal.
Yes.
Mr. Shuey.
Yes.
Mrs. Smugin.
Yes.
Mr. Sisnowski.
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
I need a motion to approve the student handbooks.
Motion.
Second.
On a question? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Havenstein.
Yes.
Mr. Kashner.
Yes.
Mr. Persing.
Yes.
Mrs. Scandal.
Yes.
Mr. Shuey.
Yes.
Mrs. Smugin.
Yes.
Mr. Sisnowski.
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Griffiths.
Yes.
I need a motion to approve the school level plan.
Motion. Second.
On a question? All those in favor? Those opposed? Ayes have it. I need a motion to approve the addendum to the plan.
Motion.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Mr. Kashner.
Yes.
Mr. Persing.
Yes.
Mrs. Scandal.
Yes.
Mr. Shuey.
Yes.
Mrs. Smugin.
Yes.
Mr. Sisnowski.
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Griffiths.
Yes.
Mrs. Havenstein.
Yes.
I need a motion to approve all fundraisers.
Motion.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Mr. Persing.
Yes.
Mrs. Scandal.
Yes.
Mr. Shuey.
Yes.
Mrs. Smugin.
Yes.
Mr. Sisnowski.
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Griffiths.
Yes.
Mrs. Havenstein.
Yes.
Mr. Kashner.
Yes.
I need a motion to approve all contracts and agreements for student services.
Motion.
On the question? Roll call.
Mrs. Scandal.
Yes.
Mr. Shuey.
Yes.
Mrs. Smugin.
Yes.
Mr. Sisnowski.
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Griffiths.
Yes.
Mrs. Havenstein.
Yes.
Mr. Kashner.
Yes.
Mr. Persing.
Yes. I need a motion to approve all service contracts and agreements.
Motion. Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Mr. Shuey.
Yes.
Mrs. Smugin.
Yes.
Mr. Sisnowski.
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Griffiths.
Yes.
Mrs. Havenstein.
Yes.
Mr. Kashner.
Yes.
Mr. Persing.
Yes.
Mrs. Scandal.
Yes.
I need a motion to reappoint the school physicians and dental examiner.
Motion. Second.
On the question? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Smugin,
Yes.
Mr. Sisneski,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Griffiths,
Yes.
Mrs. Havenstein,
Yes.
Mr. Kashner,
Yes.
Mr. Persing,
Yes.
Mrs. Scandal,
Yes.
Mr. Shuey.
Yes.
I need a motion to approve the transportation services.
Motion.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
There's two parts to that.
Yes, are we going to
Well,
waive the second part where they waive the,
Cost.
I make
The
a
cost.
motion to approve.
To waive the cost?
To waive the cost of the
To waive.
move? Okay, we need a second to that?
Second.
On a question? Okay, roll call to Griffiths' motion.
okay. Mr. Sisneski,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Griffiths,
Yes.
Mrs. Havenstein,
Yes.
Mr. Kashner,
Yes.
Mr. Persing,
Yes.
Mrs. Scandal,
Yes.
Mr. Shuey,
Yes.
Mrs. Smugin.
Yes.
I need a motion to approve the exemption and exoneration request.
Motion.
Second.
On a question? Roll call.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Griffiths,
Yes.
Mrs. Havenstein,
Yes.
Mr. Kashner,
Yes.
Mr. Persing,
Yes.
Mrs. Scandal,
Yes.
Mr. Shuey,
Yes.
Mrs. Smugin,
Yes.
Mr. Sisneski.
Yes.
I need a motion to appoint officer and representatives.
Motion.
Second.
On a question? Roll call.
Mr. Griffiths,
Yes.
Mrs. Havenstein,
Yes.
Mr. Kashner,
Yes.
Mr. Persing,
Yes.
Mrs. Scandal,
Yes.
Mr. Shuey,
Yes.
Mrs. Smugin,
Yes.
Mr. Sisneski,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
I need a motion to approve the revision to the 2020-2021 school calendar.
Motion.
Second.
On a question? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Havenstein,
Yes.
Mr. Kashner,
Yes.
Mr. Persing,
Yes.
Mrs. Scandal,
Yes.
Mr. Shuey,
Yes.
Mrs. Smugin,
Yes.
Mr. Sisneski,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Griffiths.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to personnel. Chris has some changes to the personnel.
Okay, 804, the dollar amount that should be filled in is $37,000. If you go to 810, we will be tabling that. 810 will be tabled. Uh, 819, which is the chart, there are several deletions and additions. I'm going to go through the deletions in alphabetical order here. Eugene Boyer, William Brocious, Jan Buccanelli, David Demshock, Karen Erdman, Kimberly Hart, Kelly Shoup, Evelyn Strohecker, Nathan Whitmer, which that might not be on there because that was added but
Yeah,
then
it's
deleted.
not on
Same thing with Susan Fritz. All of those names should be deleted, and there should be 3 names that we are adding, actually 2. Sharon Fellon and Charles Kovaleski. Those 2 names should be added. That is for item 819. And then final change, 821, we have an addition to post advertise for a 5-hour part-time custodian, 5-hour part-time custodian. That's all I got.
Okay. All right. I need a motion to approve all personnel items in 801 through 821 as listed, 810 table, as Chris said.
Motion. Second.
On a question. Roll call.
Mr. Kashner,
Yes.
Mr. Persing,
Yes.
Mrs. Scandal,
Yes.
Mr. Shuey,
Yes.
Mrs. Smugin,
Yeah.
Mr. Sisneski,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Griffiths,
Yes.
Mrs. Havenstein.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna go into board members' reports, and I will start it again. And I just want to say, this past week, couple board members took a tour of the high school and the elementary school to see what the rooms were like, see if they were clean and a whole bit. The high school was really, really clean, fantastic. Hats off to the custodians for that. Over at the elementary school, I got my eyes opened up a little bit. And yeah, I always hear of teachers saying they're getting their rooms ready. And, I never really knew what that was until I saw what the elementary teachers do to put their rooms together. And I mean, I was really impressed, the time that goes in with these elementary teachers, the time that goes into getting these rooms ready. I mean, I was really, my hat's off to the elementary teachers. I mean, they make their rooms look like, they're dealing with your children, and it looks like, really, really nice. I just want to congratulate the elementary staff on everything that they did. Not that the high school was perfect too, but the elementary was. I was really impressed with what they have to do to get their rooms ready. So that's all I got.
I would add to Brian's also the teachers with their families too, coming out, seeing spouses and all, helping get things ready, get the school ready for the year. I thought that was great seeing that. And the technology. I mean, the technology's the other part of that's getting us through this school year. And the amount of work that's been done is phenomenal. And I think our technology group really did a great job getting us ready to go.
Anybody else? All right. An executive session was held on Tuesday, August 11th, 2020, from 6:30 p.m. to 8:23 p.m., and Tuesday, August 18th, 2020, from 5:30 p.m. to 7:25 p.m. prior to the regular monthly board meeting for personnel issues. Citizens' comments, we don't have any. We'll entertain them though. I need a motion for adjournment. Motion. Second. We are adjourned.